Did you know that the so-called three wise men may not be exactly who you imagine? Over the centuries, this story has been shaped by traditions, artistic symbols, and popular interpretations that often drift away from what the biblical text actually states. What seems familiar today may conceal deep layers of historical, spiritual, and even political mystery. This narrative crosses dangerous deserts, ancient empires, and celestial signs difficult to decipher, revealing a story far more complex than nativity scenes usually suggest. Who were these enigmatic men who abandoned their homelands, left behind the comfort of their kingdoms, and undertook long journeys guided by a star few noticed or understood? What moved them with such conviction to follow a sign in the heavens? And what is the true meaning of the gifts offered to the child Jesus? Gold, frankincense, and myrrh are often reduced to simple gestures of reverence, yet they are objects loaded with royal, priestly, and funerary symbolism. This account goes beyond familiar Christmas imagery shaped by centuries of tradition. It invites us to investigate the mystery behind the Magi by analyzing hypotheses about their identity, their knowledge, and their mission. It also pushes us to examine the nature of the star that guided them, exploring astronomical, prophetic, and supernatural possibilities, while carefully separating what is written in Scripture from what was added over time. Matthew 2, verse 2 records a defining question. Where is he who has been born King of the Jews? For we saw his star in the east and have come to worship him. Imagine the scene. Men from distant lands, bearers of rare knowledge and gifts of immense value, crossing hostile deserts, unstable territories, and dangerous trade routes. Guided not by maps but by a celestial sign, they challenged not only nature but also the political powers of their age. When they appeared before King Herod, their words shook thrones and awakened paranoia. The Bible describes them simply as wise men from the east, offering no names, no number, and no precise origin. This silence itself raises questions. Later tradition would name them Melchior, Gaspar, and Balthazar, assigning them symbolic ties to Europe, Asia, and Africa, as though the entire world came to recognize the Messiah. But Scripture never confirms this image. Why would men known for wisdom and learning abandon everything to follow a star? Were they astronomers, astrologers, scholars of ancient prophecy, or guardians of knowledge passed down through generations? Many scholars point to the prophecy of Balaam in Numbers 2400:17. A star shall come out of Jacob, and a scepter shall rise out of Israel. Others see a link to Daniel, who held a prominent position among the wise during the Babylonian exile, and may have preserved prophetic knowledge capable of influencing future generations. Their possible origins deepen the mystery. Some suggest Persia, where Zoroastrianism emphasized celestial observation and divine signs. Others point to Arabia, known for trade caravans and as the source of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. Still others suggest Babylon, a center of astronomy, learning, and prophecy where Jewish writings endured long after the exile. Whatever their homeland, these men were clearly searching for something beyond ordinary human knowledge. The star they followed was not a simple light lost in the sky. It was a phenomenon so extraordinary that it compelled educated, experienced, and influential men to cross unknown lands. How did they know where to go? And what were they expecting to find at the end of this journey, guided by the heavens? Their journey was not merely geographical. It was an act of faith and obedience. They had no guarantees of success and no certainty of how they would be received. Yet they moved forward with unshakable conviction. When they reached Jerusalem and asked about a newborn king, fear spread quickly. Herod was deeply troubled. What had these men seen in the heavens that pointed to a rival king? They endured harsh winds, dangerous routes, and constant threats, while the star continued to guide them with purpose and direction. Most striking is that no one else seemed to recognize the meaning of this sign. Was it visible to all, or revealed only to those Scripture describes the star itself? Matthew 2, verse 9 states that the star went before them and stood over the place where the child was. This raises an unavoidable question. How could a celestial body guide people and position itself over a specific location? Stars and planets follow predictable laws, indifferent to human affairs. Yet this light moved with intention, as if responding to a beyond the physical universe. Throughout history, many theories have attempted to explain the star scientifically. Some propose a rare planetary conjunction, others a comet or a supernova recorded in ancient skies. While these explanations are fascinating, none fully account for a light that guides, pauses, and directs with precision. This intentional movement recalls the pillar of fire that led Israel through the wilderness. The star was not merely illumination. It was guidance and divine invitation, calling those willing to follow beyond the limits of reason alone. This points to a supernatural manifestation of God's presence, guiding Gentile seekers to the Messiah. The Magi, though not Jews, recognize the sign through ancient prophecies preserved from the time of Daniel and Balaam. The star symbolized the light of Christ breaking into a world marked by expectation and silence, revealing that divine truth is not confined to one people or nation. When they reached Jesus, they fell down and worshipped him, offering gifts rich in prophetic meaning. Gold proclaimed kingship. Frankincense declared divinity and priesthood. Myrrh pointed to suffering and sacrifice. Together, these offerings revealed Jesus as King, God, and Redeemer, long foretold yet now revealed in humility. Scripture does not say whether the Magi fully understood the depth of their actions, but it is clear they obeyed before fully understanding. Their worship contrasted sharply with Herod's fear. Known for cruelty and paranoia, Herod viewed the child as a threat to his throne. In secret, he questioned the Magi while hiding violent intentions behind false devotion. Warned in a dream, the Magi did not return to Herod but departed by another route. Enraged, Herod ordered to massacre children in Bethlehem, fulfilling the prophecy of Rachel weeping for her children. His violence exposed a conflict between earthly power and God's kingdom, yet divine protection prevailed. Joseph was warned in a dream to flee to Egypt with Mary and the child. Egypt, once a place of bondage, became a refuge, fulfilling the words, "Out of Egypt I called my son." The journey of the Magi ultimately reveals that God calls unexpected people and guides them through unexpected paths. The star remains a question to every generation. How will we respond when light breaks into our darkness?